Hi everyone, it's Hamza Khan, your fitness and life coach. And today I am very honored and thrilled to be joined by one of the best law of attraction coaches in the world, my personal coach, my mentor and teacher, Agnes Vivarelli. It's very interesting. 3 years ago, I landed on her page. I was in a very dark spot and I was looking for answers. And I came across a page. I started watching her videos, practiced her teachings, and that's where the magic began. She's the one who introduced me to self-love and taught me law of attraction. And that's been the tipping point, the turning point of my life. So please join me in welcoming Agnes. Welcome to the channel, Agnes, and thank you for taking the time. It really means a lot, and we're very grateful indeed.
Thank you for the warm welcome, Hamza, and it's an absolute pleasure to be a part of this beginning of your journey. And I mean, you and I have a very regular and close connection, and it's just wonderful that we can now do it in the reverse. Instead of you hopping on mine, I'm here on yours. So we've got some good questions that you have already sent me, so I think it'll be really wonderful for your viewers.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, 2 years before, I think you told me that I see you one day, running your own channel. And here I am, and you're on my channel today. So that's another manifestation, which is
Yes.
amazing. And we have this sync, I think, told you that I see myself in you, and we have so much similarity when we look back at our experiences, how far we have come, what we have learned. So I'm very, very grateful for this connection and to have you as my mentor and to have you in my life.
Oh, thank you. Likewise, back at you.
So the topic that we have chosen for discussion, we have done some really amazing discussions before, and we will put down the link to those in the description. So we are going to talk about good health, and we're going to give you 5 steps to build a healthy, happy, and longer life. So health is, I think, one of the greatest blessings. And I feel without health, nothing's really worth it. It's a key form of self-love. Like, I take care of my physical and mental health as part of my self-love journey. Anis, do you want to say something about self-love and health? How do you see them together?
I agree with you. I think if you haven't got health, then everything gets affected. Your mental state, your emotional state, then also your relationships, your ability to be really giving at work. And it's the foundation of all. And if your health is not working, or you're having issues, reoccurring issues with your health, or you're at the present moment really struggling with either a disease or an illness that you just can't seem to get on top of, I would really look at the self-love as the first thing that you do on top of, what's recommended for your particular condition. So in terms of self-love, it's mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, and it's really getting, firstly, this bit right, because this is what's then influencing the body and impacting the health state that you are in. So if you're sick, you've got more thoughts of I'm unhealthy, or I'm not well, or I'm never going to get over this, or how do I get over this? You've got those types of thinking at the present moment. That's what your health is telling you. So to become healthy, you need to think more thoughts of I am healthy, I've got vibrant energy, I keep getting better and better. I can stay young as I get older. My organs are working, my bones are strong, my, in digestion's working. You can do all these specific types of affirmations to support wherever your weaknesses are. Yeah. So get this right, and then the body follows.
It's very interesting. Deepak Chopra, he's very famous. I think he also talks a lot about law of attraction. He talks about mind and body union. So he says that when
Mm.
your mind is agitated, your body will be agitated. When your mind is at peace, your body will be at peace.
Mm.
So I think definitely,
Yeah, it's that simple.
yeah, it's that simple. Very beautifully put.
Mm.
So the first
Yeah.
point is when it comes to good health, foundation of good health starts with eating healthy. And I believe that every time you eat, you make a choice about your health.
Mm.
And I've been on a self-love journey. I think I'm also gotten obsessed in recent months with eating healthy, eating organic food, nature-based food.
Mm.
I read a lot on food. I read a lot on health, and I do have some suggestions. But first, I want to know about your health eating routine. What kind of foods do you eat and enjoy?
Good question. I really go by one principle. If it's made by nature, then that's a good thing to eat. So I'm not saying I never eat processed foods, but it would be no more than probably 20% these days. And I avoid certain food groups that I know really do not work for my body type. I get very congested very quickly from dairy. So I pretty much avoid dairy nearly 95% of the time. I know wheat isn't great for me because it really bloats me up and it creates blockages in my digestion. So I try and avoid that about 90% of the time. And sugar, I still have sometimes, but again, it's at a reduced, probably 20%, 10% as well. And my body runs much better on lots of dark green vegetables like you. I eat organic as much as possible. I eat a lot of soups. I find wet foods are better for me than dry foods. So soups and stews and things like that. And I'm a regular juicer. I do juices, not every day, but maybe 3-4 times a week. And also I've been taking green clay. Since I had COVID and I was knocked out for 2 months,
Yeah.
I read up a lot on green clay from a French doctor in France. And it is actually part of the landscape there. And she cured people of COVID in 3 days, like heavy duty COVID, like what I had in 3 days, because it's like a sponge. It goes through the body and it sucks up all the toxins and then it expels it.
Wow.
And then you're left with just better energy. And
Where do you find it? Like in grocery stores?
No, usually health food stores. If you put green clay for internal use,
Okay.
it comes, I bought it in London and it comes from France.
Okay.
I can give you the links to the ones that I bought because I know my friends in Australia have bought the same brand. So it's obviously being sold around the world.
Well, that's interesting. I've never heard about green clay.
Yeah, it's really an interesting thing. Unfortunately, a lot of the interviews on the green clay are in French. So whether you can work out a translating system on YouTube, but the green clay has been fantastic. When I was pre-COVID, I was doing 200 sit-ups a week, and I would that's 5 days of 20 sit-ups.
Yeah.
So, no, that's not right. Hang on. 40. I'm doing 40 because I'm doing 20, and then I take a break and I do another 20. Now, I've been doing that for about 2 years. So when I had COVID, I didn't do any sit-ups for 2 months. And then when I started to go back and I was having the green clay, I was able to do the straight 40 sit-ups without a break. I didn't have to break it into two lots of 20 anymore. And that happened pretty quickly after I started taking the clay for about a week. It's like my energy levels really boosted. Now, I also, since COVID, started taking zinc, vitamin D, and I had a lot of hair loss and nails breaking off. It was like it's affecting all of that. So I started taking biotin for those things.
Yeah.
So, and vitamin C. So I never take supplements. I'm not a supplement taker. I rather get it through food. But with COVID, I thought, okay, I'm going to need a bit of a boost. It's going into winter. not going to get much vitamin D here, so let me support my body and my system. But yeah, it's like now I can do the 40 sit-ups without a break. And I thought, wow, that shows me my energy level is much better, much better.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that does sound like a superfood, and vitamin D is like so essential, and it really helps fight disease. It supports our immune system. There's a lot of research now coming up that if you have vitamin D levels good, then you will be able to fight off, even prevent COVID. So I read a lot. I've read a lot of some of the best seller books on health recently, and I've listened to some of the best health experts out there. And if there's the few things which unite all of those experts, if you distill teachings from some of the best out there, so 2 to 3 points. First is that you want to avoid sugar as much as we can, because sugar is like the root cause of so many health conditions. And processed junk food, that's something not to be part of your diet. I mean, it's not always about calories. You also need to ask, it's giving you any nutrition, right? McDonald's, KFC, it's not going to give you any nutrition. And you must include leafy greens in your diet. Everyone talks about it. All these best holistic doctors, especially a nutritionist, they talk a lot about the value, nutritional benefits of leafy greens. So we're looking at lettuce, we're looking at asparagus, looking at broccoli, looking at kale, salad leaves. They are called superfoods. They're rich in fiber, and they're rich in minerals. So low sugar, no processed food, organic, nature-based food, and lots of leafy greens. I think if you do this, incorporate these into your diet, you're going to live 5 years longer anyway.
And you know what, Hamza? I find a lot of the dark red foods are really good for me, like the purple carrots, the beetroot and cherries. Those types are really good at. Which ones?
Berries, blueberries, strawberries. They rank like the best in the fruit.
Yeah.
So, okay. So number 2 step is walking and exercise. Now, I know that you recommend in your self-love tips, you have some videos, 10 top self-love tips. You do talk about going out for a walk. How do you see walk as part of a good self-love routine?
I think walking, firstly, it's free. So if you can't afford to go to the gym or go to class or go to yoga or whatever, walking is free. So that's the first thing. Secondly, you are able to combine walking with affirmations and working on your mental state and your mental diet. I mean, you can easily go for a 30, 40 or 1 hour walk and do between 500 and 1,000 affirmations in that time. So it's like you're doing these two things simultaneously, and doing affirmations while you're in motion, I think, is so much more like you can feel the energy of the body moving, the oxygen in your bloodstream. You feel free. You're able to look at the trees or look at whatever's around, so you can improve your eye health as well, because I find with so many of us on screens, so many more people are wearing glasses. So when I go for a walk, yes, I do my affirmations and then I take a bit of a break. And what I do is I really concentrate on extending my vision to long distance clouds, the top of a roof, the top of trees, and really stretch my long-term vision. And since I've been doing that, I would say my vision has improved about 40% in close to a year, but I was knocked out for 2 of those months with COVID. So I would say 10 months I've been consistent with doing eye exercises. I've got a YouTube that I use, and there's a guy called Meir Schneider. He was born where he was pretty much blind and he had to use Braille. And he is now not only able to see, he drives, he doesn't wear glasses, and he is able to be glasses free in his life. So this guy has really achieved something he didn't just, was born with eyes that could see and then had to wear glasses. He was much more in the minus than a lot of people. And I've been started doing he talks a lot about palming to really give the eyes, the neck, and the shoulders, the eyes are connected to all of that. And this thing on the computer is what causes a lot of the neck and shoulder problems that then creates the eye problems. So his stuff is amazing, and I'll give you the link for him, but he has really taught me to really stretch the eyes and look at long distance objects to balance out the long-term and the short-term vision.
Wow, that's amazing and very inspiring. I mean, that's something I thought about walk, that you can actually use that to improve your focusing and visual skills. Generally, walk is so good, I mean, it boosts your mood. It helps you lose fat. It's good for immunity. It lowers down stress levels, cortisol levels, and overall, it boosts a positive body image. And with affirmations, you're right. I mean, I have tried affirmations in the morning, in bed, but I found walking to be the best time for my affirmation. And very interesting, I was preparing for this fitness shoot, which I did recently in Dubai. So there was a 4-month training leading to that shoot. And I had to get like 10,000 steps every day for that shoot, to prepare, to get into that shape. And every time I would go out for a walk, I would just do my affirmations on repeat. I'm getting in the best shape of my life. I'm getting in the best shape of my life. Everything is working out for me. And, I had those 4 affirmations specific to my goal, and I would just, go on a rampage, and it really worked. So it's
wonderful.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, I've seen a transformation because I've seen your photographs, but also I just remembered when I was stuck in quarantine for 2 weeks and I was unable to go out and not even open up a window, you did some really good little videos for me to help me in quarantine, these very set little exercises. And I did them every day and they were excellent. They were so
body
compact where I could see what you were doing. And I thought, great, just because I'm confined. Yeah.
So I think it's a very great, good practice. It helps you disconnect from your worries, and also helps you connect with nature and get some good fresh air. Yeah. So next is very important. I think this is where you can pitch in. Happy thoughts and laughing. I mean, they say laughter is the best medicine. And, they say that there's research that our thoughts are linked to chemical responses. Our cells, they respond to our thoughts. And when we think happy thoughts, they produce feel-good hormones, primarily dopamine, endorphins, and it improves our internal body composition. So thoughts are definitely linked to health. And there's a whole science. If you have negative thoughts, that means your internal body composition will be negative, and that's when disease thrives in your body. So what do you have to say about having happy thoughts? How is happy thought thinking linked to good health?
I think the happier you feel, you send the vibration of joy, of fun, of playfulness to the body. And those are the emotions that do not fertilize disease. So if you're depressed, if you're negative, if you're feeling upset, and I'm not saying you have to be perfect all the time because we're human and we have the ups and downs, but if you can process things and then let them go and say, okay, that's done now. Now I'm going to hop back into doing things that make me feel good, like exercise or like cooking amazing food or like going to a movie or watching Netflix or hanging out with someone that you really enjoy. All those things lift your spirit, lift your vibe, lift your health. And therefore, you are less prone to getting sicknesses, illnesses, and things that really, just pollute the body. Sorry, did you pick up that background noise there?
No, it was minor.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, happy thoughts. You really have to make an effort to think positive. I was reading this book. I was listening to this guy. He talks about that we all struggle with negative thoughts, And the first question that I get, and I get this a lot on my Instagram page as well, how do you overcome negative thinking? And how do you control negative thoughts? Because we all know negative thoughts, they're more powerful than positive thoughts. So he said, very interesting. He said that the opposite of negative thoughts is not positive thinking. It's neutral thinking. So you just shut down negative thoughts. That's the first step. And he gives a very good example that when you are reversing your car, and if you want to move forward, you're not going to go straight into forward gear. You're going to first want to go neutral and then you go forward. So that was very interesting. But do you have something to say to people who really struggle with this vicious cycle of negative thinking and they can't help it?
Yeah, I think it's definitely something that many of us have struggled with and some are still struggling with. So I find the easiest thing is using Ho'oponopono because it's 4 statements. I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. I think it's like what you're saying this guy talks about, it brings you back to neutral. You're not trying to affirm anything. You're not trying to get anything. You're just trying to pull your attention away from whatever is really biting into you. So to unhook from that, using something general, I think is easier than trying to say, affirm I'm skinny when you're really overweight and your head goes, well, that's not true. And then you feel like you're failing at doing the affirmation. So I think using Ho'oponopono, it's like you hop out of that groove rather than saying to yourself, get out of the groove, get out of the groove, get out of the negative groove. You're hopping out of the groove. You're not trying to focus on the problem and pull your attention away from it. All you're doing is going, okay, whoop, I hop over here. And then you go on with Ho'oponopono, and then it releases you from the negative thinking. I think that's the easiest route I have found over the years.
Yeah, no, Ho'oponopono, I think it's definitely a magical practice. Very few people know about it. Definitely magic, and it has that cleaning energy, and it really detoxes and cleanses all the negativity out of your system. And that's when you become, I think, you get in the state of attracting good stuff once you have cleaned all the negative energy.
Yeah. And Hamza, did you know on the 17th of January, which was, 10 days ago, Dr. Hugh Len passed away. He's like the godfather of Ho'oponopono, Dr. Hugh Len. So he died.
Oh, wow. I've actually listened to some of his YouTubes, and I think he talks about experience in that hospital where he first experimented.
Yes.
Sounds like a very humble guy, and that's very sad news. But I think he gave us something that is for a lifetime, and we must make it part of, I think, our everyday routine.
Yes. Definitely. I'll send you some links for the good Ho'oponopono ones. You can put the links down below if you like, for people that really want to explore overcoming their negative thinking. There'll be some links down below for them.
Also, it helps people come out of anxiety and depression. It has magical healing powers. So that's a great practice. And even I always recommend it to my clients, like people who come to me for law of attraction support. First, I go with cleaning part. First you need to set your foundation right. You need to get yourself rid of all the negativity, and then you start affirming positive statements. Ho'oponopono prayer is the foundation, is the first step to manifestation.
Yeah.
So next is the importance of sleep, getting good sleep. Now, this is in fitness, sleep is so important. I think sleep is when we detox, when we recharge, when we recover. And in fitness, they say sleep quality is even more important than your diet and exercise. Uh, when you sleep better, when you sleep well, you feel better, you look better, and you even lose weight. That's when you lose fat, and you also build lean muscle tissue. So sleep is fundamental. And I think we must take all the steps necessary to prioritize our sleep, because when we don't recover, when we don't recharge, next day we're going to wake up cranky, and then that's going to set us for negativity and bad experiences. What do you have to say about this?
I think I agree. I think it's the number one most important thing. The others are important too, but like you're saying, if that's not right, then it's like a domino effect. It affects everything else. It's like you're too tired to juice, you're too tired to cook something healthy, you order takeaway, and just on and on it goes for the day. So I think you've got to work out, okay, how many hours do I need? And for some people it's four hours, other people it's 8. So you work out, what do I need? And then you alter. I mean, sometimes people have to get up early to go to work. So you go, okay, if that's the case, I need to alter it at the other end, and I need to go to bed earlier, and I need to, make sure I don't eat too late, because when you eat too late, then you struggle to sleep properly, or if you have too much caffeine or whatever it is. So it's reducing the things that will impact the sleep so that you can really let go and sleep to the best possible. I mean, sometimes you've got things on your mind and you roll around a bit because it's bothering you, but then you can stick on Ho'oponopono and we'll go to sleep, or a beautiful, sleep meditation or whatever it is. So what I hear a lot reoccurring is, I'm so exhausted from doing all this manifesting stuff. And it's like, well, if you're exhausted, that energy in itself is negative, and that then is going to impact your ability to attract or bring it in. So get the sleep right, because once you've had a good sleep, it's like the whole world feels better. You just go, my neighbor with his grass cutting thing in the morning, I've had a good sleep. It doesn't bother you. But if you haven't had enough sleep and you're exhausted and that starts in the morning, that's the moment where you consider sticking your head out the window and yelling at them, because you lose control of making good decisions when you're tired. And that's when you have arguments with loved ones. That's when you don't eat properly. That's when you go, I'm too tired to exercise. That's when you eat junk food late at night when you're watching movies. It's like it literally, that one thing dominoes the whole rest of it. So get the sleep right. Do what you can, whether some people take herbal remedies at night to help them sleep, or they use meditation, or they use, certain, those body pillows or whatever. Use whatever makes you really comfortable, and get into the groove and really make the effort to get whatever amount of hours you need, because that too makes you look better health-wise, because it affects your face, how you look. When you look tired, you look old, and you look grumpy, and you look not good. And as soon as you've had a good sleep, it's like you look better, you look more radiant, you look more approachable, you look more clear in the skin, all of those things. So I think it's a massive one, Hamza, massive.
100%. There's this very interesting line that a great morning starts the night before. So actually, you plant the seed of your next morning the night before. And you're right, sleep is fundamental. And when you're going to wake up cranky in a negative state, you're going to rebel. You're not going to attract. And, I think in manifestation, the number one thing that matters, I mean, in my understanding, as I have, I think my understanding obviously has changed. And the more you practice, the more you understand how it works. It's all about the field you're in, It's not really just about doing the meditation, and that's right, you launch your desire, but then it's how you feel the rest of the day, what state you're in. whether you have that receptive state, and that receptive state is being in a state of peace and happiness. And sleep will get you, good sleep will get you in that state to attract what you want. So it's fundamental. There's this very interesting book by, I have his name, Sean Stevenson. He's written a book, Sleep Smarter. You should check it out. And I'll put the link, the YouTube link to his talk. Very interesting. He talks about how vitamin D and getting sun is also linked to getting good sleep. So people who get more sleep or exposed to sun, they get better sleep. And also he gives some 21 hacks in his book to getting good quality sleep. And I mean, I prioritize my sleep, and I've got this lavender spray that I spray on my pillow. It's very relaxing. Then I do meditation. I put on some, I have a meditation list for the night. I just put it on and I sleep on that. Music helps, relaxing,
beautiful,
soothing music. So sleep is definitely key to living, a healthier life, a happier life, and to attract your manifestation.
You know, Hamza, I've got a friend who was really waking up tired and struggling with sleep, and she wasn't having any caffeine, her diet was good and all these things. And she got this app on her phone where you put the phone next to the bed and it actually measures your sleep pattern through the night. So she could see where she was having good sleep and disturbed sleep. And sometimes she would remember that she'd hear a dog barking, or her neighbors would slam the door when they came in late from work or whatever. But you can actually see how restful your sleep really is from these apps. So I found that quite fascinating, because you could look in the morning and go, oh.
Yeah, and it's that deep phase, I think, which is most important. Also, some people say that you should not keep your phone, close, and you should just put it away, sleep. But then for me, I think I really use that time to catch up on good music and meditations. And I just, there's some overnight meditations, which basically apparently they help you. I think the way of changing your subconscious. So interesting practice. I mean, I have a YouTube list that I use to go to sleep, and it works for me.
Yeah.
So the fifth step to a healthy, happy, and longer life is ditch toxic relationships. And this is, I think, called tough self-love. This is where you draw boundaries around what you're going to accept. This also involves raising your standards when it comes to dating, when it comes to your partner, and also people you surround yourself with, people you talk to. All of that will determine your peace, your mental health, which again is linked to your quality of life. So what do you have to say about toxic relationships? My conclusion now is that no relationship is worth your peace of mind. And your sleep, your peace of mind, that comes first. I mean, for me, it comes first. And even if I have to live single my whole life, I would choose a healthier, peaceful life over a relationship which affects my mental peace.
Yeah, I so agree with you. And, it's almost like there are two types of people. There are those people that want to improve their lives, improve their diet, improve their well-being, improve their physical state, their mental state. Like there's people that just have that in them, where they're striving to improve. And then there are other people that are more drawn to self-destruction through drugs, through food, through, there's all sorts of gambling, pornography, alcohol. Like you can choose so many different things to self-destruct. So and I'm not saying we all haven't had moments of one and then the other, but somewhere along the line, it's like with a rock bottom, usually a breakup in a relationship, you've lost all your money because you've gambled, or, your family and your friends are sick of you because of whatever you've been doing, and you keep lying to people and they get tired of you, that you hit a rock bottom. And that's often when people make that really big change. And I think when you can be around people that are your flock, the flock that loves what you do, it makes it so much easier to be around, because the conversations are going to be the type of conversations that you enjoy. So I think as you make these changes, some people you choose to have boundaries with and step away from, and some just naturally drop away and they just fizzle out of their own accord. So I mean, for me these days, I'm very clear. I don't want to be around people that have drug and alcohol issues. I've got a lot of that in my family. People that have got a lot of addictions on a lot of levels, because the French culture has got a lot of addictions in the foundation of the culture. So, from food to coffee to cigarettes to alcohol and it's daily. It's not just on weekends or whatever. And so when I go there, I can't really stay like I used to. I used to be able to stay a couple of months. Now I can barely make it 2 weeks, because, we all live in a small village. You walk to everybody's house and you're constantly in rooms where people are doing these things. And I'm not around that anymore. So I find it foreign. I find it quite repelling, because I don't really like seeing people enjoy themselves, and you see it over the years, the effects it has on them. So yeah, I remember Marvin, Mr. Daniels, who has a channel as well. He said to me not long ago, he said, my circles become so small, it's just a dot. Yeah. So he's got so few people around him these days that it's, the circle's gone from that to that. And I laughed, because I thought, well, I spend a lot of time on my own. I've got 2 friends in London, and I might not see either one of them for 3 weeks, so I'm either on my own or I'm with my partner, and that's, a balance of depending on his work, my work, and all of those things. So, but we're both very happy on our own or together. They're both equally pleasant. So, and when you're in that state of being happy with your own company, it's not that you don't love people. It's that you love yourself enough to not be around people's stuff that affects you. That's the priority. And being around like-minded people and making those choices. Yeah. It's so much easier. And I don't have the energy to change people anymore. I just don't. As in my friends and family I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean, same for me. I think I'm very protective about my energy. And so I have few friends. I've cut out a lot of people, and I think fewer is better as long as they help you. I think people who help you grow and who make you positive. You hear one negative story and it sends you down the drain, you think that it's going to happen to you. What you surround yourself with, the movies you watch, the people you listen to. I mean, YouTube, I make it a point that I listen to the best of motivational speakers. And it's part of because they really lift my energy. So Marisa Peer, she has this theory which she says, not let in destructive criticism. I mean, that's the foundation that you need to draw. No destructive criticism. And that is, I think, key, a wonderful self-love practice, where if you're letting other people's comments and opinions affect you, especially destructive ones, then you really need to take control and not let it get to you. So again, negative people, negative toxic relationships, this is something I think we have control. I read this book, very interesting. This is the 5-second rule by Mel Robbins. And she says that our life, it comes down, I think her conclusion will be very good for concluding our talk. She says that our life, it comes down to decisions that we make, the decision to eat healthy, the decision to leave a toxic relationship, the decision to get up and exercise, the decision to
Mm.
surround yourself with positive people. It all comes down to decisions. We make decisions or we don't make decisions. And when we don't make decisions, we stay miserable. So I think the message for the audience is take control of your life, make decisions, and make healthy choices. Eat healthy, prioritize your sleep, think happy thoughts, take time out for exercise, and surround yourself with positive people and cut toxic relationships out. Nothing is more important than your health. And without health, nothing's really worth it.
Yeah, totally agree. You're talking to the converted.
So, Agnes, do you have any concluding message for our viewers? And then we can conclude our discussion.
I think it's just really take care of yourselves. The world is not your opponent. It's not the one you battle. It's you. It's always between you and you. That's the battle. That's the thoughts, the beliefs, the being lazy, the not wanting to eat well, the not wanting to exercise, the not wanting to go to bed early, the, not wanting to do the sit-ups, not wanting to, it's all those things that you battle. It's between you, and you're only as good as today, because you could do well yesterday, you get up today and your head starts again. I don't want to do that. I want to eat the hot dog and chips, or I want to eat the Kentucky Fried Chicken or whatever. And it's not about doing it like you live in a monastery, but if you can reduce it down to a small amount, like, 10, 20%, and the rest of it, you're doing pretty good, you will thrive mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. You will stop looking for outside reassurance. You will stop looking for outside love. You will stop looking for other people to make you feel better, or trying to take other people's energy because you're not feeling great. If you manage yourself, all of that out there, it just falls at your feet, and it takes the problems away, because your vibration is different. So what falls at your feet is totally different. So you're not ironing out. It's like you're trying to fix external problems when it should be an inside job. And we know you can't rearrange the chairs on the Titanic. Didn't work. So do the internal work, let the outside stuff go. Do the internal work. And you've got morning till bedtime. It's a day tight compartment. Do your exercise, do your meditation, do your walk around the block with your affirmations, go to work, see what you can give to your job rather than what you can get from it. And try and say to yourself, how can I be more secure and happy today? How good am I doing with that? And then once you do that well, all of that is no longer an issue.
I think this.
So that's it.
Compartmentalized thinking, it's so important, one day at a time approach. So get up in the morning, and I think the question that you need to ask is, what is it that I'm going to do today to make myself feel good? And I always recommend people starting with small changes. You don't have to get up one day and be like, oh, I'm going to stop eating sugar, I'm going to stop eating junk food, and I'm going to be all healthy today, I'm going to do exercise. It doesn't work. It's that splurt of motivation which then fades. So starting with small changes every day, maybe one healthy meal, one portion of vegetables, maybe a 15-minute walk, if not 10,000 steps, maybe 5 to 10 happy thoughts, maybe one YouTube positive. So small changes over a sustained period of time, that is what's going to do the trick. And that's what's going to get you eventually into a new state. So wonderful exchange. And yes, thank you very much for your wisdom, for sharing some really, really helpful tips and knowledge. And I hope that our viewers will find this discussion helpful, and they will make some healthy choices, and they will get on their self-love journey to create the life that they want, a happy, longer, and fulfilled. All right. Thank you for watching.